What's up, everybody? Welcome back to this week's Action After as we sit down and look at Alex Brueckmann's Action After, which was, what is the cost of no action? What is the cost of no action? With wherever you're at in your life, we're going to start to look at, if you don't take action, if you don't do something different, what does that truthfully mean? And so as we dive into this action after, we're going to look at two specific action after items. Now, the first one is, I want you to, as Alex said it best, be brutally honest with yourself in today's action after item. And in life, we operate and we move as human beings by two different forces. One, we're either motivated by the increase of pleasure, or we're motivated by pain. We're motivated by pain or pleasure, essentially, right? By achieving something that excites us, that gets us more pleasure in our life, or by avoiding something that will be painful. And so what we're going to do in this first action after item is we are going to, in a sense, flare up a little bit of the pain. And sometimes what happens in life is we go, I don't even want to look at those things because I'll just sweep it under the rug. I don't really want to think about it. But the reality is sometimes we need to look under the rug. We need to lift the rug up and go, holy crap, this is what's actually under there. And that moves us into action and into a place to really create some of the things we want with our life. And so the first thing I want you to do in this action after item is, I want you, in a brutally honest manner, to write a paragraph down. This week, I'm gonna ask you to really write something down, whether it is in your notes section in your phone, or, I'm a fan of pen and paper if you want to actually physically write this down somewhere. But what you're going to write down is, you're going to write down a paragraph and ask yourself, what would your life truly look like if you took no action to change the situation that you're in? Right? What would your life look like if you took no action? And so you may find yourself in a place of, let's say you're not enjoying what you're currently doing, right? Now, if you ask yourself what happens if you take no action, I want you to ask yourself, let's go with, in 3 years, what would your life look like if you took no action, right? And obviously, if you don't love what you do, you're going to start to kind of build up the pain a little bit. Maybe you go, in 3 years, I'm still going to be waking up every single day not doing something I'm excited about. I'm still going to wake up on Sundays and just dread Monday, right? But I really want you to be brutally honest and look at, what would your life look like in 3 years if you took no action? Now, maybe you're also in a place where you're going, I kind of feel stagnant, and that's okay. So my life would probably look the same in 3 years. I want to give you a thought to think about for a second. I want you to imagine that I had an apple with me, and let's say I placed the apple outside of my house, and I came back in 3 years, and somehow I found that apple and it was still outside. Now, I want you to ask yourself, in 3 years, would that apple, would it be in the same exact condition? Would it be in improved condition? Would it be in even better condition? Or would the apple be in worse condition? Now, I think we can all agree that the apple would absolutely be in worse condition. Right? Another example we can look at is nature, a plant, the purest form of life in this world. And again, I would ask you to look at it in this sense, is, if we have a plant and the plant's not growing, then what is the plant really doing? And if we're brutally honest with ourselves here, if a plant's not growing, the plant's dying. But what I want you to begin to look at is, in life, sometimes we feel that we're stagnant. Right? Sometimes we feel that, things are coasting and that's good. But if you look at the plant, if you look at the apple, I want you to imagine, rather than saying, what would the plant look like in 3 years, or what would the apple look like in 3 years? I want you to ask yourself, what would you look like in 3 years? And the reality is that, as human beings, if we are not growing, then we're dying. If we're not progressing, we're going backwards in life. That's the honest truth. That's the honest reality. And so even if you're stagnant, I want you to ask yourself, what would life look like? Be brutally honest with yourself in 3 years if you took no action. Would it be, maybe you go, I wake up in 3 years and I'm just kind of frustrated that I never got this promotion that I thought I really deserved because I never really took the action to go get that promotion. Right? Would it be that in 3 years, I'm not in a relationship today and you're thinking this and you're going, I'm fine, I'm coasting. But if you took no action in 3 years, maybe you go, now I'm lonely. Right? So what is the true cost of taking no action? That's going to be action after item 1. And either write a paragraph in your notes or write it in your in a notebook somewhere. But the key here is I really want you to paint a vivid picture of what this would look like, because what we're doing here in a sense is we're flaring up some of this pain so that we really step into action. All right, so that's going to be action after item 1. Now, the second one is I want you to ask yourself that imagine you had the most successful version of yourself that you currently desire in your life today. Right? Maybe it's a certain thing you'd want to do in your life. Maybe it's a certain industry you'd want to go into. Maybe it's a certain profession you'd want to go into. Maybe it is a promotion you'd want to get. And if you're sitting there and you're going, I don't quite know what the best version of my current day self would look like, you don't quite have that vision, ask yourself, who is someone else that you know that is living a life that inspires you? Who else is someone that you know that is doing something that you really would want to do with your life? Maybe it's a career that they're doing. Maybe it's a business that they've started. Maybe it's a relationship they're in. Whatever it is, find someone. If you can't think of what your current best day self would look like, think of someone that's living a life that you really would want to live. And then what I want you to do is I want you to be brutally honest again with yourself. And I want you to ask yourself, what are the key traits that this person has in life? Right? Again, what are the key traits that this person has in life? So maybe you go, as an example, you go, I want to be in this certain position in this company, right? And you go, that's what I would love to do. Is there's this company that I work for and I really want to get this promotion, as a simple example. Now, what you could ask yourself is, what are the traits that person has who has that promotion? Right? Is it that they show up early? Is it that they truly are extremely focused when they're at work? Right? Like when they're there, they're present, they're getting things done. They're not spending 3 of their 8 hours of a working day just kind of dabbling off. Right? Is it those 8 hours they're focused in, they're honed in? Is it a trait of this person is they know the vision, they know the direction that they're moving in? Is a trait that, maybe this person is also physically engaging in their body? Or maybe this person, you go, they have so much energy in life, and it's because they every single day train their body, right? So they have energy from that. What are the traits that the person you would want to have? And then the key here is start implementing some of those traits into your life. And what you'll notice at first is it's going to feel weird. It's going to feel uncomfortable. You're going to go, well, I don't really like doing that thing. It feels weird. It feels unnatural. It doesn't feel normal. But what you want to begin to realize is you need to consistently do these things day in and day out. And one day you're going to wake up and you're going to go, oh my God, I have all of these traits. And boom, that's when you get the promotion, right? Because you've become the person that you needed to become in order to create these things that you really wanted in your life, to create the life that you want. All right. So that is going to be the action after item for this week. We're going to be looking at, what is the cost of no action? Number 1, write a paragraph down of what would your life look like in 3 years if you took no action to further your life. The second part is asking yourself, what would the best current day version of yourself look like? Or who is someone you know that really is doing something that you want to do? And asking yourself, what are the traits that person has? Be brutally honest. What are the real traits that they have doing that thing that you want to do? And then simply go out and start to become some of those traits. Start to add some of those traits to your life. And sooner than later, you're going to notice that you really do start becoming this person and you start creating this life for yourself. All right, so that is going to be the action after for this week, my friends. Again, if you haven't yet, I talk about this a little bit, but I want to make sure that you are subscribed to this podcast. If you're tuning in on YouTube, make sure you click the subscribe button and make sure you just go out and share this with someone that you know that is trying to figure out their life. Like do a beautiful favor today. Do a beautiful act of kindness and say, I know someone that's struggling with their life. I need to share this with them so they can get a bit more clarity in their life. So if you haven't yet, subscribe, share it with someone else. I massively, massively, massively appreciate you. And other than that, my friends, I will see you or talk to you on the podcast next week. Take care.